That's yeah.
Bhante, I'm going to ask everybody to mute themselves and you have to unmute yourself.
Okay.
Okay, I think
I'm
you're unmuted.
unmuted now, right?
Yes, Bhante.
We'll wait one more minute. There's the Gabriella from Berlin. Okay, let's go ahead and start now for those who like to recite Namo Tassa and the three refuges. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Dutiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Buddhang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Dhammang Saranang Gacchami. Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. So welcome to our worldwide friends to this Sunday's Dhamma talk and meditation. Now, over the series of these Dhamma talks and Sutta studies, we've been, covering the major aspects of, practicing the Dhamma, and about the nature of samsara and ignorance and all of the fetters and the karmic fetters and so on that we've been accumulating through so many lifetimes and even in this lifetime. And it's a very strong force of ignorance and conditioning is, very, very strong. And in the dependent origination, we saw that, how the wheel of samsara keeps on turning, powered by ignorance and the accumulated craving and attachments and habits that we've been accumulating all this time. And so it's not easy for people to practice, because the deep-rooted ignorance and also kind of like a laziness has been built in to ourselves. And especially as we, reach the modern era, in this modern age where life is kind of, you could say simplified compared to the living standard and trouble people had, even 100 years ago, But in terms of people wanting more comforts, so all the inventions and advancements has been making life, more and more comfortable, and people are getting used to that, and they have the air conditioning, so they keep the temperature, at a perfect temperature, 70 degrees Fahrenheit, throughout the winter or summer. So when the summer gets hot, they put on the air conditioner. When the winter gets cold, they turn up the heat, and they get used to all their comfort foods and so on. They have all the entertainments, at their beck and call. They can watch, virtually anything that they want to. And, got used to, just doing what they want, at least, for a large segment of society. And so the practice of Dhamma, most people find that, not really that easy. Some do, of course, some don't. But, even the Buddha said that, the practice of the Dhamma goes against the grain of the normal way of thinking. So I want to give some reflections on, the meaning of practicing the Dhamma, and how it contrasts with the ordinary sort of frame of mind or habits that people have gotten into. And these are outlined in what are called the 8 noble thoughts, or the 8 thoughts of a wise person connected to the Dhamma. And this Dhamma is for reducing desire, not for increasing desire. So when you practice the Dhamma, we all understand that desire and craving is one of the origins and causes for the continuation of being infatuated to sensual desires and getting caught up in our attachments and aversions, greed and hatred, and the kama that's entwined with having this sensual desire, and that desires really cannot be satiated, and it's like a disease that keeps on growing. People are never satisfied. So for people that want to keep increasing the desire, that practice the Dhamma would be something that's not to their taste, or makes it much more difficult to practice meditation if you go on having too many desires. Now, connected with that is the thought that this Dhamma is for one who is contented, not for one who is discontented. So we know that restlessness is one of the hindrances, and basically restlessness is not being contented with the present moment, and being contented with basically what you have at any moment, not wanting, always wanting something else. So to be contented with whatever temperature it is, whatever situation you find yourself in, and being able to have patience and tolerate whatever the situation that you might be having. So this Dhamma is for one who is likes contentment, not one who is discontented. Because and so these two are connected, both the desire and the contentment, because most people are not content because they don't have what they want, or they get what they don't want. And you can see that even in today's world, predicaments, all these different protests, especially here in America, there's so many things going on with, people not liking the rules about restrictions of what to do with the coronavirus thing and protesting that, or protesting, of course, the abuse and other inequalities with the law enforcement and so on. And of course, a lot of these protests may be all right, but the thing is, they just increase the discontentment, and that also increases our, resentment and anger and so on. So those two thoughts that, this Dhamma is for one with, few desires, and this Dhamma is one who enjoys contentment, because all those practices of Dhamma lead to that. And this Dhamma is one who likes seclusion, not for one who loves society. Of course, we are society creatures and so on, and we can't, we have to interact with society to a certain degree, but it's the people that, always want to be sociable and go out of their way. They want to meet new people. They want to go to all kind of social gatherings. A lot of it's, to show off whatever, or to try to make connections and so on. But anyway, that all leads to more and more things to think about or worry about when you then go back to want to meditate. So it's for a person who's content to be alone or by himself for long periods of time. And actually, this period of the coronavirus and home restrictions and stay at home, actually, that is quite good. Some of these things are like silver linings to this coronavirus, that we can learn how, we can be more content, we can be secluded. We don't have to go out and mingle with society and so on. We can be content with what we have. Supermarkets run out of some of your favorite items, or the supply chains are cut. So you have to be content. You have to reduce your desires, and you have to, be happy to be more just with yourself. So that's actually some good aspects according to the Dhamma. And sometimes it takes situations to force people to understand that, because we get so accustomed to just wanting to do whatever, whenever, and as much as we want, much of the time. And this Dhamma is one for one who is energetic, not for one who is lazy or slothful. Now you might think, what? Meditators are not energy, they just sit around, meditating. But the energy, when we say this Dhamma is one who is energetic, that means mental energy. That means the energy to practice. The energy to actually have less energy, physical energy, to run around and always wanting to be doing things. The energy to be more contented and grounded in the present moment. So the energy means the energy in overcoming the defilements. And the energy is in challenging your edge, so to speak. How much can you tolerate? And to gradually push the envelope of, let's say, tolerating pain and discomforts in meditation, or tolerating the various negative thoughts and hindrances that keep coming up in your mind, and to applying the right effort and right mindfulness to apply the antidotes for weakening the hindrances and for strengthening and growing the factors of enlightenment and the spiritual faculties and the faculties of enlightenment. So it takes a lot of energy to overcome that inertia of laziness, of mental laziness, as well as the physical laziness. But the two are very intimately connected. And this Dhamma is one for one who is mindful, not for one who is unmindful. And in this respect, mindfulness has a couple different aspects. That means mindfulness on one level means to remember. So it reminds you, oh, what is coming into my mind right now? What am I feeling right now? It reminds you of the present moment, but it also reminds you of very practical things. Like it, reminds you of just what you need to do today, or reminds you what you shouldn't do today. So it's to remember the things that should be done according to the Dhamma, and to remember the things that should not be done. That means the unwholesome, negative types of thoughts and actions that may come up at any time. And of course, then that leads to the deeper practice of mindfulness in our meditation, being mindful of the hindrances so that we can apply the energy to overcome that hindrance, and so on. So, it's people who like to be mindful. Most people like to be unmindful, forgetful. Then they don't have to take responsibility for what they're doing. They say, oh, I forgot, and so on. So a person who's, according to Dhamma, likes the mindfulness of knowing that what should be done and applying the right efforts. And then this Dhamma is one who is composed, not for one who is restless. So this is similar to the one for contentment, but composed is more of a mental equilibrium. Contentment means you're satisfied with what you have, but composure is a mental stillness. So that comes through our deeper levels of concentration, developing the mental tranquility and the mindfulness factor of concentration, the ability to develop and reach deeper levels of concentration, which is also mental composure. That means where the hindrances have died down. And then this Dhamma is one who is wise, not for one who is unwise. So again, applying the wisdom into knowing what should be done in terms of the practice, what is skillful, what is not skillful, and also understanding the underlying anicca, dukkha, and anatta of everything that we experience, of the five aggregates. So understanding how the five aggregates are operating and working, and also the six senses, and being wise of the fetters that arise between our sense organs and the objects that it contacts, and all the various aspects of the Dhamma, wisdom. So this Dhamma is for one who, likes to increase the wisdom, not for decreasing wisdom. And then the eighth of these thoughts in this listing is this Dhamma is for one who delights in freedom from impediments, not for one who delights in impediments. So, of course, most people don't even know what an impediment is. So if you ask them that, for some people, impediments are, well, that person's impeding me for doing what I want. their idea of an impediment is somebody preventing them from doing whatever they want, even if that is telling lies, or doing any other unwholesome thing, trying to stop you to get drinking or drugs or any other type of things, using bad language. Oh, they're impeding me. They won't let me do what I want. So that's not impediments from the Dhamma point of view. That's actually we're delight in the freedom from those impediments. So to be, free from those negative impediments. Most people delight in wanting more and more impediments, although they don't even know them as impediments. So that means delight in weakening the hindrances, delight in using the Dhamma to attack those fetters, but in a skillful way, knowing, reviewing our practice. So in our practice of Dhamma, we always try to review, how much, of hindrances or fetters or greed, hatred, and delusion, have we kind of wore away in the last 6 months or a year. And you might notice, oh yeah, I overcome this habit, yeah, I can sit a little bit longer now. I'm not so, irritated by various pains and so on. So you can see, oh, okay, there's some progress being made. So you delight in that, observing that progress that you're making in the Dhamma. But it all comes from the practice. You can understand that no practice, whatever practice, how long you've been meditating, 20, 30 years. I know that many of you have been meditating that long or longer. And, you wouldn't still be meditating if you had not been seeing gradual improvements. So that's what strengthens your faith, even though it may take a long time. And maybe you're not making as quick a progress as you want, when you read the sutras and how so many people attain the stages of enlightenment, it seems, by, in a short period of time, but nevertheless. So anyway, these are the kind of mental attitudes that we should, cultivate, or naturally that will arise when you are practicing the Dhamma in a good way. Now, having said that much, I want to now talk about something that's more specific in that regard. And this is found in a sutta called the 8 Grounds for Laziness and the 8 Grounds for Energy. So we all know that, we tend to want to procrastinate, or we get lazy, or something happens and we make an excuse. Well, maybe I should skip meditation today, or skip yoga today, and so on. And, you might have some legitimate grounds from time to time. But so, the Buddha, gave this list of the grounds of laziness, because even in those days, 2,500 years ago, all these, fetters and hindrances and habits and so on that we have today existed then too, but just in, sort of different degrees. So you can see if any of these things may pertain to your situation or not. So say a certain person, he has some work to do. So there's some work coming up that the person needs to do. So he thinks, oh, I got this work coming up, and it's going to take a lot of my energy. So let me rest first. So they lie down to rest or sleep, and they skip their meditation. They do not arouse the energy to attain the unattained. So this is the first ground of laziness, thinking that well, I have to go out and do some work now, so let me go rest first. And maybe it was when you were supposed to meditate. Oh, let me skip meditation. Let me get an extra 40 winks or, half an hour of sleep or something. And then you get up late and have to rush to start what you were supposed to do and miss the meditation. Then after the work, then the lazy person thinks, oh, I've just finished this work. And my body is tired. I know it's time to meditate, but let me lay down. So one lays down and goes to sleep, and then gets up late, and now the time for meditation's over. He's got something to do. He misses the meditation. So he does not arouse the energy to attain what has not been attained, or to realize what has not been realized in terms of our progress in meditation. So that's the second ground of laziness. And the third ground of laziness is a person has a trip to make. Oh, I have to go on a journey now. And he thinks, oh, I have to, before I, make the trip, I better lay down and rest first because the journey might be tiring. So he skips the meditation, lays down to rest, and then, gets up late and then doesn't have time to meditate, and then, rushes out to make the journey. And so he does not arouse the energy to attain the unattained. That's the third ground of laziness. Then the person makes the trip and finishes the trip and comes back and says, oh, I'm just doing this long trip and I'm tired, and lays down and skips meditation and lays down. And then oversleeps and gets up and says, oh, now I have to go, prepare my food or something else. So he skips the meditation. So that's so he doesn't arouse the energy to attain the unattained. That's the fourth ground for laziness. Then a person says, oh, I wasn't able to eat too much today. I'm feeling a little tired. I didn't eat enough, I can't meditate, I'll probably go sleep and meditate. Let me lay down and sleep. So he lays down to rest or sleep, when he should have meditated, and then again oversleeps or gets up and then rushes to do something else and skips meditation. And so he doesn't arouse the energy to attain the unattained. Or he has eaten too much, right? So he eats too much and his belly is heavy and feels like a sack of soaked beans, And he says, oh, I'm so tired now, I ate too much. Let me lay down and rest. So he doesn't arouse the energy to attain the unattained. And then he gets up late and then has other things to do, and he misses the meditation. So that's the sixth ground of laziness. And then the person is feeling a little ill. Maybe starts feeling a little ill, not feeling so well. And he says, oh, I'm not feeling so well. Let me lay down and take rest. And skip the meditation. So he lays down and skips the meditation, doesn't arouse the energy to attain the unattained. And then when he's recovered from that illness, when he's feeling better, he said, oh, I missed a lot of work. Now I'm feeling better. I have this energy. And so, let me go do some other work I missed. And so he skips the meditation and doesn't arouse the energy to attain the, or he recovered from the illness actually, and then he says, let me take it easy. I just recovered from this illness, I better not work too hard. Sitting's a lot of work. So he lays down and then skips meditation. So that is the fourth basis of indolence. I don't know, does that sound familiar to any of all of you all out there? Maybe once in a while. Huh? Okay, but that's it's not over with. Now there's the 8 bases of energy, okay? So this is sort of the opposite. This is for a Dhamma practitioner who, wants to challenge those things. So a person has some work to do, so that he thinks, oh, I won't have time to practice meditation while working. So, in advance, let me sit down now and do that meditation before I go out and do the work. So that person arouses the energy to attain the unattained or realize the unrealized by, exerting that effort to do the practice before, doing the work, or thinking kind of ahead, out of the box. Or he's finished the work. He said, oh, I finished the work. I missed my meditation. Let me meditate now. Instead of saying, oh, I feel tired, let me sleep. He says, oh, now I finished that work. Let me make up on my meditation. So he sits down to meditate and arouses the energy to attain the unattained. Then he has to make that trip. But he thinks, before doing the trip, he says, well, while traveling, it won't be easy to meditate. Maybe I'll be on the train, for a long time in a noisy train compartment and so on. So let me meditate now before going on that trip. So he arouses the energy to do the meditation before going down to the, Bahnhof, get on the train or whatever journey. So he arouses the energy to attain the unattained. Or he thought, and he finishes the trip and then says, okay, now I finished the trip. Now, even though I'm tired, let me meditate to arouse energy. Maybe he missed because he was traveling, he missed some of his meditation. So he makes that effort, having finished the trip, to sit down and meditate, not saying, oh, I'm tired from all the journey and traveling. Or a person didn't eat enough. And he thinks, oh, I didn't eat enough, but my body feels light. Hey, this is a great time to meditate. Not thinking, oh, I didn't eat enough, I feel tired, and lay down. So they arouse the energy to attain the unattained. Or he thinks, I feel an illness, or I ate too much, now I have great energy to meditate. So whether he ate not enough or ate too much, he doesn't, use overeating and having a heavy stomach to excuse not to, to lay down and rest before eating. And actually, this was in Sri Lanka. I was living in a monastery, one of the first meditation centers that I was doing some intensive vipassana meditation, actually with the same monastery that I was ordained as a monk at. They had to practice that after lunch, you're supposed to meditate. So there we ate. You only eat one meal a day as a monk there, really. So you eat a lot and your stomach is really full, but they force you to sit, for 1 hour and meditate. And usually people be sitting around going like this, But I use that as a challenge. And sometimes I had my best meditations even after eating a large meal of rice and curries, you know. I just kind of forced myself through it. Not every time it happened, but sometimes I did. I really had a good meditation. You make that determination, you know, and sit through it, and you'd be surprised at what can happen. Or a person feels an illness coming on, so he thinks, oh, let me meditate now before the illness gets worse. So he arouses the energy to attain the unattained. Or they recover from the illness, and he thought, oh, I've lost time now because of this illness. And so they don't say, oh, I just recovered from the illness. Let me take it easy. Okay. No. He gets up as soon as he notices that illness, he sits down to meditate again. To arouse the energy, to attain the unattained, to realize the unrealized. So these are the 8 grounds for arousing the effort to practice. So I just wanted to share these sort of reflections with you, so that you can work on those. Especially because I'm sure we've all these are things that people are happening to people all the time. Really, you either got to do some work, you're going to make a trip, you're eating enough or overeat, or then you're feeling ill, and these are all times that the mind tries to make excuses why it should take it easy and so on. But that's when you give in to that, they become habits. So a Dhamma practitioner has to, again, that's part of the right effort. And when you make that effort, you see the benefits of it, because that's the way we make progress, is by but it has to be the right effort, and that's what increases one's faith. Okay, so having said that much, as I mentioned before, I didn't want to start to reduce the amount of time of giving a formal Dhamma talks, and want to have time for more questions. So I'm going to see if there's any. Doesn't look like there's any questions on the chat thing, but if anybody wants to write a question down on the chat, you can go ahead and do that. Or
Bhante, we need to share the screen. It says host, disable, participant screen sharing. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, that's all right.
did you hear that, Prashant? Okay, here's a question. Couldn't discontentment also be something that motivates our practice? If it is a discontentment with clinging in sensual pleasures. Now that is right, but the discontentment that was referred to in when I was mentioning those that list of 8 thoughts, it's the discontentment that comes from laziness and just wanting to always do something. So you're discontented. But if it's discontentment with your laziness, that is a good thing. So yeah, we might qualify that discontentment, being discontented with discontentment. as a motivation for increasing one's energy to, we're discontented, we're not content with our practice. So you have to then increase your efforts to find out why you're discontented. Maybe you're not making enough progress as you hope for. A lot of people think that, if they meditate, that they should be making quick progress. But it depends on how much you meditate, And if you meditate only, 20 minutes or even 30 minutes a day, or doing other aspects of practice, that may not be enough to overcome the inertia of the other time in our life. So, we have to examine ourselves and find out what this discontentment is coming from, or, with our habits. And knowing that, our habits, you mentioned the clinging and sensual pleasures, those are not going to be overcome right away. But we have to examine which of these sensual pleasures and other clingings have the most detriment to our practice, and then try to work on the ones that are causing the most conflict, either in your personal life or with others around you, and work on overcoming the grosser types of defilements, and then gradually work on the subtler ones. But again, unless all the factors of the Eightfold Path have to be practiced and integrated for them to work efficiently. But again, it's not going to come quickly, probably, for most people. So actually, the dispassion, I just wanted to add to that we've read in the previous, when you meditate, the mental qualities of disenchantment, like the sabbe sankhara anicchati, all things are impermanent. When one sees this with wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. So this disenchantment, you could say, is the same as that sort of discontented with this suffering. And so that disenchantment or discontent with suffering is, a positive thing, and for the causes of suffering. Then there's a question, could you please reveal what is the sutta reference for the 8 types of practice? It comes from the Anguttara Nikaya. I guess you're talking about the 8 bases of laziness and energy, or the 8 noble thoughts. I'm not sure. We did 2 different things that had 8 components to it. The first topic I went into were the 8 thoughts about this Dhammas for reducing desire and contentment, and the other was the 8 bases of indolence and energy. But the 8 bases of laziness and 8 bases of effort are in the Anguttara Nikaya, the book of the 8s, and it's 80 suttas, 80.10, but again, these numbers will vary depending on what books you're reading. But anyway, it's Anguttara Nikaya, book of the 8s. So any book on the Anguttara Nikaya, you'll just have to look through the index or table of contents for the book of the 8s and look for either the bases of laziness, grounds for laziness or energy, or the bases of indolence. And or just read through the whole thing until you you find it. The other one, the 8 Great Noble Thoughts, this is found in the Bhavana Society chanting book, and I don't know the actual which sutta the Buddha might have actually mentioned it, but if you have the Bhavana Society, the West Virginia Bhavana Society chanting book, this is in there under the 8 Great Noble Thoughts. And all those things that he mentioned in the chanting book are found somewhere in the suttas. It's just that I didn't go through and find exactly which one that was. Okay. How does meditation have the ability to enable us to overcome the hindrances and defilements of the mind? Well, it's by developing mindfulness and concentration. Because in overcoming the hindrances, you have to be mindful when the hindrance arises. That means you have to be alert to it and be able to identify, this is the hindrance of sloth and torpor. This is the hindrance of sensual desire. This is the hindrance of doubt, or the hindrance of restlessness. So first you identify it, and then you have to apply the antidote. You have to apply the right effort. And if it needs an antidote, such as instead of just nodding out like that if you're sleepy, straighten up the posture, take a few deep breaths, massage your neck muscles. Or if you're still sleepy, stand up, do some walking. So you have to make the effort to overcome that hindrance. Or if it's a defilement of the mind, like ill will, resentment towards somebody, then you have to then cultivate, let's say, metta, for example, or reflect on the nature, the dangers of harboring ill will and resentment. So it requires mindfulness to do that. You have to remember how to do it. That's why we keep on repeating these things over and over again. Part of mindfulness is remembering how to do it. It's not that when it happens, say, what the Buddhists say about overcoming this or that. Where's my book? No. You have to have it in your mind. You have to have an instant recall. How do I meditate on impermanence? How do I meditate on no self? How do I, see the 5 aggregates? That's where the study comes in importance. That when these things are remembered and you can remember them quickly, then you can deal with these hindrances much sooner, and they'll be weaker and therefore easier to overcome when you catch them soon enough. And then also with the concentration, as you develop mindfulness and you get more concentrated, that also weakens the power. It helps you to endure pain, for example, longer. And it also slows down the speed of your thoughts so that you won't have so many of those hindrances arising. So the way you overcome these things is by developing mindfulness and concentration. But the way you develop mindfulness and concentration is by also practicing the other steps of the Eightfold Path. You have to practice sila. If you're not practicing sila, then the hindrances will remain strong. All these things are connected. All the steps of the Eightfold Path are connected. You just can't practice meditation without right view, right thought, and the practice of sila. I mean, you can practice it a little bit, but you probably are not going to make a lot of quick or deep progress. So it looks like somebody here has a good contact with all these suttas and topics that we've been mentioning. That's good. And there's the link to the Bhavana Vandana book. Okay. So it's all there if copy these things down, and you have a good, very good source of the Dhamma info there. So thank you to you people, John Wilson and Jason Heath, who are providing these links. Okay. Okay, this other question, is there a good reference on the antidotes to apply for the different types of hindrances? Well, I spent one whole night in that. Go back through the, well, there's a book called the 5 Hindrances and Their Conquest. That's the absolute best book on the topic of the 5 hindrances, how they're nourished, and the antidotes on how to weaken them. That's a publication by somebody put that link up several weeks ago. We covered that topic several weeks ago in the Sutta class, and there was a book there. Go back and listen to that talk. Go back through the recorded sessions on YouTube, look through on our website or my blog, and find that talk about the 5 hindrances and their conquest. It's listed there. And re-listen to that talk, and you will find the link to that booklet, I think. Or maybe these fellows, John Wilson, he probably pop it up pretty soon, maybe. Or any of those things, these places that he's been listing, BuddhaNet, Sutta Central, anyway, you should be able to find it. Just remember the title, The 5 Hindrances and Their Conquest. That's really the best reference that contains all the different things that the Buddha mentioned about this. You hear bits and pieces here and there, but this book has, it all there. Every single thing that the Buddha ever mentioned about it is in that one booklet. Okay. Any last questions? Okay, so anyway, we're going to take a few minutes break. If you still have a question, you can write a question down. Let's take a few minutes break to drink some water or use the restroom, and then when we come back, just before we start the little yoga exercise and meditation, if there's any other questions, then I'll entertain them there. There you go. It looks like our friend Jason has just put up that link, access to Insight Org, Jnana Ponika Huyu. Yeah, that should be it, I believe. Okay. So we'll come back in a few minutes. Okay, friends, back online now. I was wondering, Gabriela, can you hear me? Gabriela Heinemann. I want to give a message to you. Hi, Gabriela. Do you know that Susan and Gitan are coming to Berlin tomorrow? They got a flight. Gitan was able to get permission to come to Germany too. So they're leaving tomorrow. I guess they would be there tomorrow night or maybe the next day to Berlin from Sri Lanka. They'll have to quarantine for a week or so, but I just wanted to let you know in case Susan didn't tell you. Okay. Okay. Okay, friends, I guess there weren't any more chats either. Okay. So we'll go ahead and do a few stretches and then have our meditation practice. Okay. So don't say, oh, I spent an hour listening to Dhamma. Now I'm a little bit tired. Maybe I should lay down. No, instead, no, meditate. That's the good attitude. Okay. Oh, let me. Just stand straight. Relax your shoulders and arms at the sides. Feel your feet pressing the floor. Just gently close your eyes. Sort of feel the height and the weight of the body over the feet. And then begin taking some deep, slow breaths. Take 3 or 4 or 5 seconds to slowly breathe in, holding the air in your lungs 2 or 3 seconds. Feel the pause. And feel the relaxing contraction of the out breath. Just keeping the attention in the body. It's coming to the present moment of the standing body. Standing and breathing. Just breathing in, letting go of the past and future. Breathing out, standing here and now. Okay, on the next in-breath, raise your arms over the head, interlock the fingers, turn the palms up, straighten the arms, stretch your head back to look up at the back of your hands, stretch. Out breath, turn the palms down, touch the top of the head. And again, in-breath, palms up, straighten the arms. Stretch the head back, try to arch your spine a little bit and stretch upwards at the same time. Feel all the sensations. The out breath, palms down, touch the top of the head. Once more, in breath. Third time, hold that upward stretch longer. Feel the arch in the lower spine. Now release the fingers. The out breath, arms back to the sides. Relax. Just close the eyes. Just try to feel the inner body, sensations. Doing the deep breathing while doing the movements helps to generate a more powerful flow of sensations, electrical energy, cellular vibrations through the whole body, mind, nervous system. Just try to feel that. Let that help keep your attention centered inside. Just remember the present moment of standing, standing, standing. And then next on the in-breath, push up on the toes while raising the arms over the head like this. And stretch up, facing the palms and the hands toward each other about 6 inches apart. Out breath, come back down, heels to the floor, arms back to the sides. Just use the breathing to help lift and lower the body. The next in-breath, imagine blowing up a helium balloon. The body raises up, stretch. Out. Once more in. Out. Relax. Just close the eyes. Feel the feet pressing the floor, the arms and hands at the sides, all the different pulsations, body vibrations. Feel where the clothing rubs against the skin, producing the contact, producing those sensations, touch sensation, awareness. Just remember standing, standing, standing. Okay, next we'll do side bending using both arms. On the in-breath, raise both arms up. You keep your fingers and arms straight, close to the head. On the out-breath, bend over the right side as far as you comfortably can, where you keep the arms and hands parallel to each other. Feel a stretch in the side. In-breath, lift up. And the other side, out-breath. In, out. To the left, out-breath. In. Once more to each side, out-breath. The out breath, lower the arms. Relax. Just keep feeling the sensations. Feel that increased aliveness over the whole body. Okay, the last exercise, the head turning from right to left. On the in-breath, turn your head to the right as far as you comfortably can. Try to look over your right shoulder, focus your attention on some spot behind you. In-breath, turning 180 degrees all the way back to the left to look over the left shoulder. In-breath back to the right. Out breath left. In-breath right. Next in-breath, let the head stop in the center. Relax. Feel the whole body. You know, come back to your seat for meditation. I'm going to turn off my video, so just listen to the words of the guided meditation. So today we're going to give you kind of a guided body scanning awareness, try to tune in to subtler sensations in the body and the flow of impermanence. But I'm going to start by chanting Namo Buddhaya, one round of Namo Buddhaya. And if you know this chant on your own, you know your mics are off, but just by yourself, or just listen to the words. Namo Buddhaya means homage to the Buddha, but in this sense, it means homage to the intrinsic wisdom and the vibration of pure awareness that we all have in the deepest levels of consciousness. Underneath all of our ego-centered consciousness and thoughts is the ocean of pure awareness, you might say, that has with it all the wisdom of the Buddha, the intrinsic wisdom of the universe, of present moment awareness. So anyway, you can just listen to those sound vibrations, hope it relax you into the present moment of the breathing body. So just take a few deep, slow breaths as you're listening to that sounds. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Namo Buddhaya. Just keep the attention focused there in the body, feeling the effects of that chanting, or just feel the weight of the body grounded to the floor. Feel the contact of the buttocks and feet underneath. That earth element vibration. Okay, we're going to do a little body scanning awareness to try to develop both concentration and mindfulness. So when I mention, focus on a particular part of the body, we try to isolate that particular part in the mind's eye, and keep the attention there. Just the concentration, the ability to keep your attention focused on one spot. The mindfulness is the alertness to notice subtle vibrations within that particular body part, or the mindfulness of being aware of any hindrances that try to intervene and take your concentration away. So now bring your total attention down to feel your toes. You can do each foot one at a time, or you can do both of them together. Just try to feel your toes, the sensations in your toes, where the toes touch together. Try to feel any vibration, sensation. The toes, keep the mind focused. Okay, now let the awareness expand a little bit to feel the whole foot, each foot or both feet together, including the toes, the arch and the heel. Just try to mentally, even if you can visualize it or isolate that outline of the feet, the mind's eye. Just keep reminding yourself the feet, feet. Feel some sensation in the heel, the arch, or sort of feel the aliveness in the feet. You now move the attention to the knees, to feel your knees, the way they're bent. Clothing stretched over the kneecap. Earth element of the knees, the bones. Maybe there's some pain. The knees. And try to moving up to feel the thick flesh of the thighs or upper leg. Either where the clothing touches the surface of the skin or inside the muscle tissue. Those upper legs. And moving upwards or into the whole groin or pelvic region where the upper legs join the hips. Feel the whole pelvic region and also where the buttocks press the seat. Lots of different sensations there. It's like looking through a microscope. Just focus on that pelvic region, the buttocks. Feel any different sensation or any perceptions arising. Especially in the buttocks, that weight of the body pressing down, that earth element hardness. Producing sensations. All these sensations are just basically the interactions of cells, blood circulation. And now move the attention up to feel your hands and fingers. And first of all, see if you can feel your thumbs, your two thumbs. So you can isolate the thumbs in the mind's eye, where they touch together or where they touch your legs. And feel kind of that subtle pulse of blood in the thumbs. Or maybe in the whole hand. You can expand the attention to feel the whole hand and other fingers. Sort of feel the warmth in the hand. Might feel some subtle vibration. Just feel that aliveness in the hand. And let the awareness move up the arm to feel your lower arm, forearms. Either one at a time or both together. The forearm. Should be able to feel some sensation on the surface of the skin or inside the muscle tissue, blood circulation, pulse. And moving the attention to feel the elbows, the bend in the elbows. And feel the weight of the upper arms hanging from the shoulders, relax the shoulders, feel the upper arm and the bicep muscles. At the same time, be alert for other distractions, the hindrances. Coming back to the body. Now move the attention to the center of the body to feel the stomach, abdomen, and stomach area. Maybe take a couple of deep breaths to feel that more dynamic expansion and contraction of the abdomen and stomach area. Feel the rubbing of the clothing against the stomach. Or any stomach pain. Hold the air in a couple of seconds and slowly breathe out. Just feeling that expanding and contracting sensation in the abdomen or stomach. And moving the attention up to the chest, do some chest breathing. Continue the breathing, try to expand the upper chest. Feel the clothing rubbing against the skin of the upper chest. Hold the air in the lungs a few seconds. Feel that subtle energy of oxygenating blood. present moment awareness. And feel that contracting sensations of the out breath. Might feel some chest pain or some other sensation in the chest. Or any thoughts associated with it. Move the attention up to feel your neck, the outer neck. And going inside the throat. Feel any sensations in the throat, like the sensation to want to cough, or swallow. Just know that the neck is the superhighway that conducts the traffic between the head and the lower body. Food, water, air, electrical impulses. And moving the attention up to feel where your jawbone, lower jaw connects to the skull under the ears. Just kind of imagine that. Just feel the lower jaw with the gum and the teeth embedded in the lower jaw. Different sensations. Your upper teeth are touching the lower teeth, and just feel that. And feel the tongue laying in the mouth. The moist saliva, the water element, the soft flesh of the earth element, vibrations. Contact produces the feeling, the perception. That's the tongue in my mouth. It's perception, thought. Now feel your outer face, the skin stretched over the skull. Feel little prickling sensations. You feel where your lips touch together. And take a few more deep, slow breaths and try to feel the air moving through your nostrils. Take a deep enough breath, you might even hear the sound going through the nostrils. Hold the breath in for 1 or 2 seconds and feel the air going out, back out through the nostrils. Just feel that silent vibration of the air moving through the nostrils. Thousands of times per day, this air is moving in and out of the nostrils, bringing life-giving air, oxygen to the body. We hardly ever know it. It's the silent inner world of the inner body process, just under the skin. It's a parallel universe of the inner body. Now feel the eyes and the sockets, and the eyelids stretched over the eyeballs. You might see some light or color or even patterns behind the eyes. If you just squeeze the eyes a bit, you might notice some other types of color or patterns arise. Being the optic nerve being pressed, just electrical vibration. We have a lot of greed and desire that goes through the eyes to see things. The eyes are one of the strongest senses for greed, to look at all the things in the outer world. Just try to relax the eyes, relax any subtle eye movement. You might see just darkness. If you listen very closely, you might hear the inner sounds, the subtle, very subtle, high, shrill pitch sound, like electric voltage in the electric wires. Which is the sound of the brain waves, the alpha waves, rather brain waves. By now you might have reached the alpha brain wave level of meditative awareness. From that point behind the eyes, just allow the awareness to kind of just naturally feel the outline of the whole body. The point behind the eyes is a natural concentration point of awareness, expanded awareness. You should be able to feel kind of the general outline of the body, feet and buttocks underneath, the arms or hands in the middle, the sides, the head balanced on top, the clothing touching the skin on different places. In that state of awareness, you can easily feel all those sensations at once. It's the feeling of the organic body, the sitting, breathing body. Just let the awareness rest there in the center of the body. Tuning back into the breathing. You might take a few more deep, slow breaths to feel that dynamic, expanding and contracting sensation. Holding the air in a few seconds. Oxygenate the blood and activate the cellular vibrations in the whole body. Being aware of just breathing in, feeling the whole body. Breathing out, feeling the whole body. Feeling the whole breath body from beginning to end, occurring within the larger sitting body. Breathing in, feeling the whole body. One trains oneself. Training thus, one breathes out, feeling the whole body. It's called the integrated body awareness, feeling the breathing within the whole body. Feeling the rippling effects of that breathing through the whole body. An expansion of the chest, sending rippling effects throughout the whole body. Feeling the whole in-breath in the palm. The whole contracting breath in the brief palm. At the same time, being alert for any hindrances arising. Any mental drowsiness, or if the body is slouching, on the next in-breath, straighten the body back up straight, lift the head up, level with the floor. Just observing how each breath is different. Sometimes it's longer. Sometimes it's shorter. It all depends on the needs of the body and mind. Tranquilizing, calming the in breath, breathing in. Let the breaths become shorter, don't control them anymore. Calming the out breath, one trains oneself. As the body becomes more still, not moving, less thoughts, the need for oxygen gets less. So the breath naturally shortens, becomes more subtle. Just try to observe that body-mind process. Tranquilizing the body, tranquilizing the mind with each out breath. The end of each out breath, just feeling that present moment vibration. Just remaining alert, centered. See if you can identify the aggregate. This is material form, sensory vibration. This is feeling, pleasant, painful feeling. This is perception, identifying the object. Volition, any desire that arises, or movement, or thoughts. And the consciousness itself, the thought of I. And the thought I am meditating is the ego consciousness. Moment by moment, breath by breath, opening up to the flow of impermanence. It's grounded in the body, but able to hear sounds, or notice thoughts arising and vanishing. Try to notice more and subtler sensations arising and vanishing all over the body. In between the sensations, you might hear sound, or even thoughts, perceptions moving through the mind. Maintaining that applied and sustained attention to the process of impermanence. This jhanic level concentration. Any reflections on the Dhamma come up in your mind, you can reflect on those also. If you have any of the spiritual faculties of faith, energy, mindfulness, concentration, wisdom, or if any insights in the Four Noble Truths arise, understand that. From time to time, take a few deep, slow breaths to help stabilize the attention in the body. will freshen up the alertness. Sabbi sankhara anicchati. Sabbi sankhara dukkati. Sabbi dhamma anattati. Yada panyaya pasati. Atani bindati dukhi. Isamago visuddhya. All conditioned things, the five aggregates of this body, mind, and world are impermanent. All impermanent things have clung to with ignorance, bring stress and suffering. And all the conditioned Dhammas, as well as the unconditioned Dhamma, are without any owner or controller. They're not self. When one understands these three characteristics with the eye of wisdom, one becomes disenchanted with suffering. This is the path to purity, to freedom. And thus spoke the Buddha. Now to finish the meditation, let's send out some thought vibrations of metta to ourselves and others. So again, take a few deep, slow breaths. We'll combine that metta radiation with some deep breathing. So on the next in-breath and holding in the breath, just imagine those, sending those metta vibrations to your own body and mind, that oxygenated blood, holding in the breath, being like sending metta out to your body, mind, nervous system, calming the jagged nerves, feeling that relaxation, healing relaxation on the out breath. Just take a few more deep, slow breaths like that. Just imagine that healing energy just circulating through your body and mind, brain, soothing any anxieties, tensions, and feeling that relaxing, healing vibrations on the out breath, letting the awareness just settle into the present moment. Just wishing me I be well, happy, and peaceful and wise, free from pains and sufferings of body and mind. I have the patience, strength, mindfulness, and wisdom to meet and overcome all difficulties in life. May I continue to be able to overcome laziness and deepen my meditation practice, free the mind from confusion and suffering. May I be well, peaceful, and wise. I'll continue to take a few more deep, slow breaths. Just feeling that vibration in your own mind and body on the in-breath, and then on the out-breath, just imagine those metta vibrations, healing vibrations going out to all beings, parents, family members, relatives, neighbors, people at your work site or school, people in the different shops, grocery stores, service-oriented places. Just sending those vibrations with each out breath. Just imagine those vibrations going out through the countryside, the towns and villages, through all the people, the cities, going through the bodies and minds of all the police and the people in power to make their actions more calm and peaceful. Just imagine with each out breath, these vibrations going throughout the whole earth, surrounding the whole earth with these metta vibrations. Just with the thought, may the whole world, may all beings in the whole world be well, peaceful, and wise. May all beings in the whole world be free from greed, hatred, fear, and ignorance. May all beings be able to hear the teachings of the Dhamma and to practice meditation, to free their minds from confusion and suffering. May all beings be able to live peacefully and harmoniously together, understanding the ultimate interconnectedness and interdependence of all things. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. May all beings be well, peaceful, and wise. Just like a mantra reverberating throughout space. Well, peaceful, and wise. And for those who like, we can chant the word sadhu to finish it 3 times slowly, doing the chanting on a long out breath. Take a deep in breath. Sadhu. 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 Place your hands at the edge of your knees or on your legs. And on the next in-breath, stretch your head back and arch your lower spine. Hold it a few moments. And lift the head up, and on an out breath, press the chin to the top of the chest to stretch the neck vertebrae. And lift the chin up level on an in-breath. Relax on the out-breath. Okay, friends. So I hope you had a peaceful meditation. I hope you're able to follow that sort of train of thought. And so that concludes our Sunday afternoon meditation. And I haven't decided yet on what sutta I may cover on this Wednesday night, but I'll try to send out some topic about that or some link to that maybe by tomorrow or so.